Alright, this is the big one. Hello. Today is a tutorial on OMISsion 0 Vigilante and duping in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I will say I am not perfect at this, but I feel like I have a good enough grasp. OMISsion 0 Vigilante is not easy. I recommend that a frame limiter is used. I'm going to limit at 25 FPS for a reason I'll explain. So I'm going to have a call come in here. I'm just going to cancel it. I have a bike saved in this garage. So I gotta explain a few things. One, before, you can still do it without limiting your frames. However, it is very difficult and inconsistent. If you do limit your frames, it is not as difficult and consistent. Here's why. First off, limiting 25 FPS, which you can do by the in-game frame limiter, allows for proper call cycles. If you have unlimited FPS, it is not proper call cycles. Also there's something in the game called cycles. This is present in every GTA game. Specifically, we're going to talk about the phone calls. However, when a call reaches the set call timer, so for example 20,000 milliseconds or just 20 seconds, in Los Santos, it's different in each city. So even if you manage to hit the right frame, basically the goal is to start and cancel Vigilante on the same frame that a phone call comes in. Even if you hit that right frame without limiting your frames to 3 FPS, it can still not happen because of the cycles is on every 90 milliseconds a call will come in. If the call timer is at the designated time. However, limiting to 3 FPS eliminates that cycle base. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I recommend using 3 FPS. You can use different FPS, however, it will be a different frame depending on the FPS. Cop bike is what you're going to use most of the time. However, some more advanced routes, you could also end up using a cop car, a Broadway for pimping, or a ambulance or paramedic. I think even some use a taxi. Any of those style submission vehicles will work. However, cop bike has the easiest reference. However, the reference does differ a little bit between each person. What I do is my frame of reference is the gap 2 frames after you can see a gap between CJ's legs. I'll explain that. Because what you want to do for the reference is, first make sure in your controller settings, it should already be done, to have your foot look behind button the same as your submission button, which is 2 for me, which I think is default as well. So what we're going to do is I'm gonna showcase how to get an OMISsion 0 phone call that you can hold, which is different with cop bikes. With paramedic and maybe taxi driver, you can hold the call just right from the 1 frame. However, with a cop bike you cannot do that, and therefore I don't think you can do it with the cop car either. So what you're gonna do is you're going to limit to 25 FPS first and make sure call timer is good. I've been talking for a couple minutes, so I know it's good. Reset your look behind, or like your camera view, by using Q and E or middle mouse button, whichever. So it's set like this. You're going to hold your submission button. You're going to get off, and as you're getting off, limit to 3 FPS, and then release the submission at your frame of reference. Like I said, mine is 2 frames after you can see the gap. So it's gap frame, 1 more frame, release on the next frame. Can you not? Once you release that, wait a few more frames, then limit to 25 FPS, and then if you hear the call do a very short ring, that means you hit the right frame. Get back on the bike, press the mission again to get onMission 0 Vigilante. I will try and showcase that now. So, limited 25 FPS. There we go. Get on, and then the call will cancel. Like, when you hear that ring, the call will cancel about 1.5 seconds after that ring. So you want to be quick getting back on the bike. So now we're on Mission 0 Vigilante. What I'm going to do now to get the holdable call, hold submission again. This is like the cancel. Get off the bike so you're looking behind. Call comes in, hold your call button, which for me is tab, which should also be binded to secondary fire for vehicles. Release the mission. You now have an onMission 0 phone call, which I'll showcase by getting back on the bike, starting Vigilante, and dropping the call. And that is how to do the holding variant. Now I'm going to do a few examples. Tagging up turf dupe, which is the first Los Santos dupe in the run. And keep in mind you should not be doing LS dupes or doing these frame perfect onMission 0 tricks, even with the FPS limiter if you're starting out. Start with Disco Spiders and 8% no AJS guide. So what we're going to do is, instead of getting back on the cop bike and getting onMission 0 Vigilante, we're going to instead, the call is going to ring and we're just going to start the mission right away. And then the call will cancel after 1 to 1.5-ish seconds, somewhere around there. And without skipping the cutscene, it will dupe in the cutscene. So we'll try this again. World record runners actually just dupe in the marker, so it rings and immediately starts. However, that is risky. So we're gonna... Okay, I missed it there. Again, that happens. I think it was because I was slightly up on the slope, so my frame of reference didn't work. So yeah, make sure you're on flat ground. Try to not let PEDs screw with you. When doing just holding the call, if you're doing it here on Grove Street, I like to do it right here because it's right outside the garage. But again, I'm just gonna try again on flat ground. We'll try again. I believe it's been 20 seconds. Okay, missed it again. That is fine, and that will happen sometimes. I am a bit out of touch. Call will not always ring though, not because of cycles. Sometimes the frame just differs. Unfortunately, that's just how the strat works. It usually does come in though. However, sometimes the frame will differ for whatever reason. That is fine. So I believe it's been 20 seconds. And again, missed it. I believe I was off on my frame there. This does take a lot of practice. We'll warn it. This is just showcasing how sometimes it can screw up. I may not have even waited 20 seconds. I do not always release on the right frame either. I usually release over that frame, like 1 or 2 frame difference, because sometimes it does differ. Okay, missed it again. So, goes to 30, 50. What I like to do when just waiting around here is to drive up to Spinko and spin the bike around. Keep in mind, if you have one level, calls cannot come in. Alright, we'll try again. This can happen. Sometimes it can just go wrong. So there it goes. It happened. This is cleaning hood. My bad. But you can see it duped in the cutscene. I did not skip the cutscene until the second instance started.
You try to get any of these crackheads to help
and we
you
just
out.
have these guys.
One of the families ain't up on it.
Apart from smoke,
This is
sweet,
duped.
and you know yours truly. Grove Street
So
don't
it's a
bang
fake
no
rider,
more.
and then we can select the real one. So another example, we'll do the home invasion Instapass. So this is a save. intended for home invasion and Instapass practice. You can just straight up on Mission 0 with pimping. However, I do not have a frame of reference for that. You can find your own. I don't do it for home invasion and Instapass. For all story missions, that's the category I run. It's only one I've ran for SA. However, on Mission 0 Vigilante, it's still used. Sometimes I have not managed to complete a full run of Sanders any percent because things like this can happen. I just happen to prefer those story missions, and on Mission 0 Vigilante is used in that. It can be used in Hundo as well, especially if you're going with the more advanced strats like Los Santos Courier Instapass or Paramedic Instapass. Those require the on Mission 0 Vigilante. So I was actually a little bit too late starting Vigilante. I got on Mission 0, but I didn't get on the bike fast enough. So I am on Mission 1. So what I'm going to showcase here is Instapassing with on Mission 0 Vigilante. So I'll just quickly do the home invasion Instapass just to show it. And then I'll show you duping and cutscene with holding a call, and then duping outside of cutscenes with a call. So, like, again, I like to do this spot of land. Missed it. That's fine. Or I may have pressed F too quickly. So, feel free to skip past all my failed attempts. Again, this just happens. It can be either due to you missing the frame, or, again, rarely, it just doesn't come in. That's just life as a GTSA speedrunner. There we go. Go on Mission 0. I'm gonna get off the bike. Just park it back here. Hold look behind again in a garage. It doesn't really seem like it. And I'm gonna wait for it to the call to come in. Any day now. Hold tab, drop the submission. I actually want to do the Broadway because that can start pimping. Do this. I'm not going to explain home invasion and Instapass. I have an inputs video and just a basic video of it. Drop. Do this.
You see, I told you. Simple. Get in, fool.
Yeah, that was a real breeze.
Say, CJ, you gotta get it in your head.
Okay. So I messed up staying at Grove Street for the Instapass, but that's the general thing. You can just drop the call while in the Broadway. It's all fine.
Okay, look, I'm tired. I'll see you later.
All right, Holmes. Just think about what I said.
Home invasion Instapass. Just like that, except I messed up the warp. So let's do. I'll showcase. I'll use this save again. Got an earlier call timer, or later rather, or yeah, earlier. So I'll show duping outside the cutscene. Be careful not to actually start Vigilante with the mission, because bad things can happen. So we can.
Hey, beat up is only a couple of blocks away.
The hood's all messed up, huh?
Basically, what I did there is I dropped it in the cutscene and then instantly skipped the cutscene, so that I had control CJ normally with the call running, and then I spammed F to cancel the call. And that gave me just onMission 0.
Yeah,
And then you can do this is you could do Los Santos
out.
Courier Instapass.
One of the
That
families
is
ain't up
explained
on
it in another video.
Apart from smoke,
Um,
sweet, and you
and
know
then
yours
you can
truly.
also
Grove
do
Street
that
don't
same
bang
thing
no more.
to
Yeah,
dupe the mission.
blow, just get blown. The hood's all messed up, huh? Hey, look,
Yeah, you try to get any of these crackheads to help you out.
no wonder the families ain't up on it.
Apart from smoke, sweet, and you know yours truly. Grove Street don't bang no more.
Yeah, just get blown.
For sure.
So then I will showcase what happens if you mess up. So we'll start off with accidentally just doing Vigilante into the mission. I don't want to do it too close here. So we'll just do it here. So for example, you forget to hold the call and you just start cleaning hood while on Vigilante. Guess what happens? The game crashes. And then I'll showcase how difficult it is to get onMission 0 Vigilante without frame limiter. I'll do a few tries. If I get it, hooray. Only just test when the call likes to come in. It's like right when the camera changes. So again, you want to limit to 25 FPS for this. If you decide to not go with frame limiter for some reason.
Ain't nobody can tell me when to hit the job.
Nope, that was too early. You didn't even hear the call ring. Do apologize if there is some pausing. I am tired. And I was too late because the call came in. So this is frame perfect and suck based. Unfortunately.
Underwear is overrated, man.
I'll give it one more try, just to showcase how difficult it is, because there isn't really a frame of reference. It is possible to do this with 1 FPS if you want easier timing, or that's obviously slower. Yeah, it's very difficult. You can do this with pretty much any submission vehicle, though the frame of reference will vary. That is all I have on onMission 0 Vigilante in itself, and some examples on what to do with it. Have a good night.